The Deer Hunter isn't just a war movie. It's an epic saga about how war shatters lives, friendships, and the very soul of a community. Released in 1978 and directed by Michael Cimino, this film takes us on a journey from the smoky steel mills of Pennsylvania to the brutal chaos of Vietnam and back again, leaving an indelible mark on everyone it touches. The story revolves around three friends, Michael, Nick, and Steven. They're ordinary guys from a tight-knit Russian-American community in Clairton, Pennsylvania. They work hard at the local steel mill, drink beer at their favorite bar, and find escape and camaraderie in the mountains, hunting deer. Michael, played by Robert De Niro, is the quiet, intense leader of the group. He's a skilled hunter who believes in the one-shot kill, a clean, decisive act that shows respect for the animal. This philosophy becomes a central metaphor for the entire film. The first act, nearly an hour long, immerses us completely in their world. We're at Steven's wedding, a sprawling, boisterous celebration filled with dancing, drinking, and traditions. It's a vivid portrait of working-class life, filled with joy and hope for the future. We meet Nick, played by Christopher Walken, a more gentle and sensitive soul, and Steven, the groom, full of nervous excitement. We also meet their friends Stan, John, and Axel, and Linda, the woman who both Michael and Nick quietly care for. This long, detailed opening isn't just filler. It's crucial. It establishes the deep bonds and the life they're all about to leave behind. The day after the wedding, the men go on one last deer hunt, a final moment of peace before they ship out to Vietnam, and then the world shatters. The film abruptly cuts from the serene mountains of Pennsylvania to the terrifying inferno of the Vietnam War. The transition is jarring and brutal, mirroring the shock the characters themselves experience. We see them in the midst of combat, but the film's most infamous sequence is when Michael, Nick, and Steven are captured by the Viet Cong. They're forced to play Russian roulette, a horrific game of chance with a loaded revolver. It's a scene of unbearable tension and psychological torture. Michael's one-shot philosophy is twisted into a monstrous game of survival. Using his incredible nerve and quick thinking, Michael manages to save them, but the experience breaks them in different ways. Steven is physically and emotionally devastated, losing his legs and retreating into himself at a VA hospital back home. He refuses to see his wife, ashamed of his condition. Nick is psychologically lost. He goes a WON Saigon, his mind fractured by the trauma. He's drawn into the city's underground gambling dens, where he becomes a professional, almost zombie-like player in the very game of Russian roulette that nearly killed him. He sends his winnings home but cuts off all contact, adrift in a sea of trauma. Michael returns home, but he's a changed man. He's awarded a medal but feels like a stranger in his own town. The welcome party feels hollow, the old camaraderie is gone, and the people who stayed behind can't possibly understand what he's been through. He tries to reconnect with Linda and becomes a quiet source of support for her, but he is haunted by the promise he made to Nick, that he wouldn't leave him behind in Vietnam. He tries to hunt again, but he can't bring himself to take the one shot. He fires into the air, yelling, "Okay." His old code of honor now meaningless in the face of what he's witnessed. The hunt, once a symbol of control and skill, now just represents violence. Learning that Nick is still alive but lost in Saigon, Michael makes a fateful decision. He goes back. He returns to the chaos and corruption of a city on the verge of collapse to find his friend. The search is desperate, leading him through the dark underbelly of Saigon. When he finally finds Nick, it's a heartbreaking moment. Nick is a ghost of his former self, his eyes vacant, his arms scarred with track marks, completely consumed by the deadly game. He doesn't even recognize Michael at first. In a last desperate attempt to jolt his friend back to reality, Michael enters the game himself. He sits across from Nick, the revolver between them, trying to remind him of home, of the mountains, of their friendship. "One shot," he says, trying to connect with the Nick he once knew. For a brief moment, a flicker of recognition seems to cross Nick's face. He smiles faintly and says, "One shot," but then he raises the gun to his own head and pulls the trigger. It's a devastating conclusion to his tragic journey. Michael brings Nick's body home to Clairton. The final scene shows the friends gathered after the funeral. They're in the old bar, a somber and broken group. They quietly begin to sing "God Bless America." It's not a moment of jingoistic pride. It's hesitant, mournful, and fragile. It's a prayer, a requiem for their lost friend, for their lost innocence, and for a nation grappling with its own deep wounds. They're searching for something to hold on to, some sense of meaning in the wake of unimaginable loss. The Deer Hunter is a powerful and challenging film. It's a 3-hour emotional epic that uses its long runtime to explore the full devastating impact of war not just on the battlefield but on the hearts and minds of the people who fight it and the communities they leave behind. It's a story about friendship, loss, trauma, and the impossibility of ever truly coming home from war unchanged. It's a masterpiece that stays with you long after the final haunting notes fade away. Thanks for watching. If this summary helped you understand this complex film, please give us a like and subscribe for more deep dives into cinematic classics. See you next time.